Alright guys, here's Basic 13 Ezekiel Jackson. Really great figure here, almost 100% new parts. I believe the only new parts that aren't new are his boots, his hands, and the scan is just an upscaled version of his original scan. Really good job here. I really like the way they molded the body. It looks pretty much exactly like Zeke. I'm not sure if they did a full body scan on him, but the torso is really accurate. Nice new giant arms, got his tats on there, and just a really great figure overall for a basic. I'd love to see this converted to an elite. I also believe these giant knee pads are also the Mark Henry Big Show knee pads. But overall, a great looking figure, a really great addition to any collection, especially if you're a big Zeke fan or a Smackdown collector. He's been kind of on the down push these days, but you can still have this great figure of him, even if 2012 isn't his year.
Welcome back to Phil's Wrestling Show. Time for Smackdown Review. Alright, Smackdown from February 3rd, 2012. I didn't get to take live notes during the show. These notes are from the rundown on 411mania.com. Right off the top, Teddy Long announced the Elimination Chamber for SmackDown would be Daniel Bryan, of course, as the World Heavyweight Champion, versus Wade Barrett, versus Big Show, versus Cody Rhodes, versus Mark Henry, versus Randy Orton. A pretty great lineup for the Elimination Chamber. Should be a good one. Mark Henry came out off the top of the show after Teddy Long announced the Elimination Chamber and said he shouldn't be in the Chamber match. He wants a one-on-one championship match. And eventually he put his hands on Teddy Long, and of course Mark Henry gets suspended. Now I'm pretty sure this stems from last Friday's SmackDown when Mark Henry took a dive holding his knee, so it appeared that he did injure his knee in that match. He did work the Rumble, but I'm pretty sure that's just because Mark Henry's a tough son of a bitch. So I guess I hope Mark Henry doesn't miss WrestleMania. He put in a lot of great work in the second half. I mean, he's put in a lot of great work the last few years, but his run from last year as world champion, I really feel he should have a significant match at this year's WrestleMania. Like I said, I hope this injury doesn't keep him out till then, and I was sad to see him get written off television. Cody, of course, Sheamus and Cody came out afterwards. Sheamus helped escort Mark Henry from the ring with a brogue kick. Cody Rhodes then came out. He had a little warning for Sheamus to not let the success of winning the Royal Rumble go to his head. And in the long run, Cody feels he will be the one remembered for winning the Elimination Chamber and becoming the first man to ever hold the World Heavyweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. Now, of course, he made reference to the Ultimate Warrior, who held the WWE and Intercontinental. But if Cody would pull this off, he would be the first man to be World Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion. This, of course, anytime two superstars who aren't in a match are in a ring and Teddy Long is there, guess fucking what? They're going to be in a match. And, of course, we got that match. It wasn't a bad match. I enjoyed it. Cody Rhodes definitely been on the rise since the end of Legacy. And Sheamus is just pretty great all the way around. So they had a good little match there. Sheamus seems to be absorbing all of Finley's old moves. First with the cross off the shoulders into the front roll, and now he took the Celtic Crunch to win the match. So hopefully he doesn't forget all his old moves that we all love, and hopefully he's just adding to his repertoire with Finley's old moveset. Now this was kind of like the never-ending segment. It started right through the whole show, pretty much the first whole half hour was just all one continuous storyline. Cody stuck around after he lost to Sheamus as Justin Gabriel tried to take on Unico, but unfortunately it just became Unico, Camacho, Cody Rhodes beat down Justin Gabriel. They didn't even get to have a match. And while that was weird on its own to see Cody Rhodes helping Unico and Camacho, Great Khali, one of my least favorite superstars of all time, decides to come out and help Justin Gabriel. Now, last we seen Justin Gabriel, he was feuding with Cody Rhodes, but also helping Hornswoggle. So I'm really praying that we do not get a stable of Hornswoggle, Great Khali, and Justin Gabriel, because that's just fucking stupid. Like I said, that whole segment was just weird. After Sheamus and Cody, that whole segment was just bizarre. Then, of course, backstage, we got a little bit. Santino found a new tag team partner for this week, and a few back in episode 2, I believe it was, I said I was concerned that since Air Boom is no more, I was concerned that Epico and Primo would not have sufficient tag teams to face. And we're starting to see it now, because Santino decided to drag Hacksaw Jim Duggan out as his new tag team partner, and they would be known as the team of Santine Ho! And this is just pretty much what I feared the most for the tag team division, is that after Epico and Primo won the belts, and after Air Boom is no more, there's no more tag teams. I really don't understand why we can't have the Usos versus Primo and Epico as a feud moving forward, because it would just make sense. Usos are a great team. They're good guys. They're not really, overexposed. They don't get too much time every week. So why not build those two teams up all the way through WrestleMania and let them have a match? All this Santino's rotating tag team partners, while entertaining on one hand, does not build a tag team division. We got some Michael Cole tried to come out and make things right with Daniel Bryan for all his time of shitting upon him. He congratulated Daniel Bryan for winning the triple threat match and wanted a handshake. I really wish Daniel Bryan would have kicked him right in the fucking face, but instead he told Cole that this was not about Michael Cole. Pretty much refused to accept anything from Michael Cole. Then went on to say that Big Show does not deserve a match in the Elimination Chamber, and that everyone should become vegan. Now, this, of course, reminded me of CM Punk's Straight Edge Society storyline from a couple years back, but this has a slightly different twist on it, because this is not like an intimidation thing from Bryan, and it doesn't have that dark edge like the Straight Edge Society did. He's really just getting on people's nerves. I still like my comparison from before, that this is very Kurt Angle-like from Kurt Angle's original run. Of course, Daniel Bryan's a bit more serious than that. Not as goofy as Kurt was in the time, and he's really making the most out of his cowardly championship reign, while still maintaining the edge of being a great wrestler. And I really loved, after he got out of the ring with Big Show, AJ, of course, came to his save before Daniel Bryan could get knocked the fuck out. And as he was hugging AJ, Daniel Bryan was just giving these snide little smiles to Big Show, like, you can't touch me with her around. So I really love how he's playing his character out to the fullest. Then we got another, as I discussed on the Raw review, I really don't think Beth Phoenix needs a storyline where she runs over people in under 2 minutes. It's kind of obvious she's the most dominant diva. You don't need to do the storyline to this extent, but we got it anyway, as Beth and Natalya faced Tamina and Aksana. I haven't seen too much of Aksana's wrestling, but I'm pretty sure she's not that bad. So as far as I'm concerned, this was a waste of all 4 people. This match was actually over and done in like 45 seconds, and that's just stupid. It's a waste. If you're gonna have Beth do squashes, why don't you find some local female wrestlers and do it like Big Show style or something? Now you're wasting your own talents here, being made to look like shit pretty much against Beth Phoenix. I can kind of see that this is going for Karma versus Beth Phoenix, but I mean, you still need your divas to look somewhat reasonable, and it's just really a waste to see them used in matches like this, especially when you have Beth Phoenix, Natalya Neidhart, Tamina. They're already pretty established as good wrestlers, and Oksana's not even getting a chance to show. I couldn't tell you. She had a good roll-up on Natty last week. You know, I'd love to see what she can actually do in a match. Like I said, this was just a really sad waste of all four of those good divas. Now, of course, on the flip side of that, our main event this week was the one and only Wade Barrett putting his Barrett Barrage up against the Viper Randy Orton. Now, last week we got a non-match. They were supposed to have a one-on-one matchup, but because they started off things in a brawl, the match never even got going, and all the wrestlers that came out to break up the fight ended up eating RKOs. So this week we actually got the actual no DQ match. Another great performance from Barrett in a hardcore style match. Of course, a few weeks back on Sin City Smackdown had the great tables match with Sheamus. Definitely go back and watch that one if you missed it. And definitely, if you didn't catch Smackdown this week, definitely catch Wade Barrett versus Randy Orton in the no DQ match. Great chair work. Randy Orton picked up the victory with a second RKO right on the steel chair, setting him up in a good position. After that, we got a little segment where Teddy Long let Daniel Bryan know that he'll be facing Randy Orton next week on SmackDown. Another accurate prediction by myself. Go back and watch last week's episode. I said that after Royal Rumble, Daniel Bryan would most likely be moving on to work with Randy Orton, and I, for one, personally can't wait to see that one, because I know Randy Orton loves working with wrestlers like that. He had great matches with CM Punk last year, and I think we're in for more of the same with him and Daniel Bryan. Of course, Randy Orton always works well with guys smaller than him. Last year, probably wrestling-wise, the feud of the year was Christian and Randy Orton, and I think we're in for similar things like this. Speaking of Christian, I'm wondering where he is. I'd really love to see Captain Charisma come back. He is another one of my favorite guys, but that's another story for another time. Overall, really good episode of SmackDown this week. Overall, great week in wrestling. From the Rumble to SmackDown, pretty much all good. Cena's video was played this week on SmackDown. I think that plays better to the SmackDown fan, just like the Rock's video on Raw plays more towards the Raw viewership. So definitely a good week in wrestling. Definitely good to see the road to WrestleMania starting to build here, brick by brick. And I'm really looking forward to Orton vs. Bryan next week on SmackDown. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into the show this week. Let me get all my plugs in. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my eBay. Check out my other channel, PWS Action Figures, for all my action figure Titantron needs. And I'll see you guys next week on PWS, Phil's Wrestling Show.